Okay, so I finished step 6. I had a problem that the servo was faulty connection. It was actually loose and I had to undo the screws here. I did that off camera because I didn't know, and I needed to be able to focus on that. But now I'm going to show what I wasn't able to show in the last video, which stage 6. So you should be able to push the test, and this right here will rotate. I'm not sure that you got to actually see it very well, so I'm going to shut it off and do it again. So I'll turn it on. It'll blink, go 1. I push this test, the test option, and then this is going to rotate. Hopefully you saw that. I have it slightly zoomed, I think, so maybe not the best in the world for that type of stuff. So that was the conclusion of that stage to get it to work. It had been blinking, so it was faulty. Like I said, the servo motor connector was loose. This part here talks about his servos, and I actually do want to read it because it's going to be important for later. Robi is fitted with 20 servo motors to control all his movements. This is a brief introduction to their roles. Servo rotation. Servo motors, or simply servos, are key components in a wide range of electronic devices and are commonly used in remote control model cars and planes as well as robots. Unlike ordinary electric motors, which spin continuously when the power is applied, servo motors are designed so that their shaft only turns through a set small angle, such as that found in a human joint. So you get like 150-degree rotations. That's what that was doing. The servos fitted to Robi are I'm trying to see here. Futaba RS308MD models. These have a maximum rotational range of 300 degrees and are able to turn 150 degrees in either direction from the central rest point, as shown above. So that's this right here, 150 degrees in either direction. Degrees of freedom. Robi's agility is often measured in degrees of freedom, and this term typically relates to the number of servos they have. Each servo rotates back and forth around a single axis, giving a single independent movement. For example, allowing a joint to be angled backwards or forwards. This is counted as 1 degree of freedom. Robi's head and neck will eventually be fitted with 3 servos, giving his head 3 degrees of freedom, shown by the arrows on the photo to the left. Wiring a servo. Each servo needs to be connected to the microcomputer board inside Robi's body, which supplies the electricity needed to power its rotation and tell it what actions to perform, when to turn and how far. However, not all of Robi's 20 servos need to be individually connected to the board, as this would mean a mess of wires and require 20 connections on the board itself. Instead, it is possible to wire related servos, such as those in each leg, together in a sequence. This is sometimes called a daisy chain. The power and control information is carried from the board of the first servo along to the next and onwards until each individual unit is connected in the chain. The servos used in Robi's assembly each have 2 connection points to allow them to be wired in a daisy chain. So pack 3 is the next pack. We're going to do that one. It's got stories again like the prior packs. We're going to do stage 7 first. So here's the information. I do read all the articles. I don't read them in the videos because these videos are already taking up a lot of time. But I read everything that they send me. They're really actually great articles for, you know, the information I'm getting for what I'm paying. So stage 7 is continue Robi's head, then test its movement. I want to make sure that I shut this off because I don't want to cause the batteries to go out. So I'm shutting that off. I do need this part. I need his head and his ear. And I have some tweezers in case I need them. This part was never used. I'm not certain why we had it in the last, well, you know, the last stage 6. This was the top of the motor, and I haven't needed to use it since. These are the parts for this stage. So I'm gonna sit down, try to put the stage together. Hey Jibo, can you set a timer for 25 minutes?
Okay, 25 minutes.
Thank you, buddy. Jibo, if you thank him when he does that, he says something or smiles or, you know, lets you know he's happy you thanked him. Okay, in this stage you will take another step towards completing Robi's head by adding his left ear together with the right ear you assembled in stage 4. You will then test Robi's head movement using the neck stand and servo. So we're going to do another test. Once the ear is fitted to the right side of Robi's head frame, you will be at a point where you will be able to see him turning his head. You will do this by fitting the head onto the shaft of the servo you connected in the previous stage, then running the same servo test as before. Make sure you align the parts correctly and handle the assembly with care. The parts are the left ear base, the left ear backing, the right forearm, and then some screws. 4 M2 by 4.5 mm countersunk screws and M2 by 6 mm countersunk screws. 7 of those, and I have plenty of extra screws that I have saved from the prior parts in case anything happens that I lose them, because I'm very good at losing parts on the floor typically. Eventually I find them, but you know, you never know. Okay, so this is the earpiece. And I don't have a knife or anything to cut these open with, and I don't want to use my teeth. So just using the screwdriver. It's pointy enough that it seems to help to get them open faster than me just tugging on plastic would do. So there's the earpiece. There's the backing part. This is the, what do they call it? The right forearm. And then the screws, which they have in individual bags within individual bags, so that's fun. Okay, so we're going to get the earpiece first. So line up the left ear backing with the inside of the left ear base. The countersunk hole in the center of the ear backing should be facing you. Fit these M2 by 4.55. It's the ones that there's 2 of. So this one with the screw into the hole and tighten with the screwdriver to secure the parts. So this part right here is what we're doing. I did this before on the other ear. Now that backing still isn't there, but basically this is this part right here on the other ear. So we're just doing the same thing on this ear. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is a relatively straightforward step. Get both of the screws out in case I lose one. I have the other because I'm pretty certain that one of them is an extra. Almost every pack, they at least give you one extra for everything. Okay, I'm gonna move this so it's easier to see what I'm doing. I don't think on the last video I was necessarily paying enough attention to what people could see. I mean, I realize it's not that easy regardless because I don't have a camera person, but you know. There we go. So we got that one done. Attaching the ears. Okay, so is Robi finally going to get his ears? Holding Robi's head frame so that he's facing left. Okay. line up the left ear assembly. Okay. Line up the left ear assembly with the triangular point of Robi's ear facing directly behind him, then fit the parts together so that the three circled holes line up with those on the head frame. Hold the parts in place and screw 3 of the screws into the holes to attach the ear to the head frame. And then do the right ear. So basically I'm just doing both of the ears. So that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so they want me to do his left ear first. I'll do his left ear first. Let's get it lined up properly. And then these are the, is that correct? What are the 3 holes they're talking about? Let me look again. Oh, okay. So I don't have the ears right. I picked the wrong ear. No surprise. Okay, so this is the 3 holes. I'll show here. It's this one at the top, and then there's 2 on the side. Okay, and that's the other screws. And then I'll re-show the thing once I get it placed back where it's supposed to be. Okay, well, I'll worry about it in a second after I get the screws out. But that's definitely the correct ear now. Move this over with the other parts, actually. Okay, so I'm gonna need, that's the other screw that I don't need anymore. So I'm gonna need 3 and 3, and then probably 1 extra there. So that, and then I was gonna re-show, so this just putting his ear on, basically, right there. You know, there and there. Okay. I'm gonna take my glasses off to make it easier to see. Try to put them into the holes first. Makes it a little easier, I've found, if I do that. Not always, but just a little easier. Except when you lose them inside of Robi's head. Okay. There we go. It's gonna be these 3. Okay. So that one. Okay. Let me get them all 3 lined up if I can, because it's gonna be way easier if I get at least 2 of them lined up anyway. Try focusing on the 2 furthest ones. Okay. Lined up. I think I might have actually got them lined up, so that's really great. It's almost a guarantee that once I got the 2 furthest ones lined up, that the top one would be lined up. I'm glad to see his face coming together. So that he's starting to look like his, namesake, Robi Jr. Okay. good. It's supposed to be. I think that's right. That actually went okay. We can just get this side to do the same thing, to be as easy at a assembly. Definitely putting the screws in first and then lining it up with two of them helped tremendously, because those aren't holes that you can actually see due to the color and location. You can't like line it up and say, oh, I have it lined up to the hole, unless you have the screw already in place. So get the screws here on this one. It's a little bit more difficult. Are lined up, and let's see. Yep. So I believe I've managed to get this one lined up properly as well. So that went okay. Afraid I was gonna maybe lose the light, not be able to get this one done in time, but I might be able to get stage 7 done in time. Okay, there we go. He's got his ears on. It looks great, and we've got one of the backings on one of them that we haven't gotten to put on for a while. Okay, so we got that one done. And then let's see, we only have one more page left. And let's hope this is not a difficult one. Attaching the head. So this is what I'm looking at right here. 7, take the neck stand you assembled in stage 6 and locate the small notch in the servo shaft. This should be facing the back of the stand. Also note that the shaft has a series of splined ribs running up it, with Robi's head facing the same way as the neck stand. Fit it carefully into place. Let me look here. Yeah. Okay, fit it carefully into place so that the servo shaft slots into the small hole in the center of the head frame. This is internal ribs that need to line up with the spline, so ensure the head is straight. Store the unused forearm safely until it's needed. Never pick up the assembly by the head, so this may strain or damage the servo or other parts. And then it says his neck movement's ready to be tested after I get that on. So I just got to get his head on the right way. And I should be able to figure that out, I hope, because his head should go this way, I mean, that's the expectation here, that it would go this way. I don't know. Let me take it off a second. I want to just make sure. I just don't know how tightly I'm supposed to get this. Okay. Need to make sure it's definitely not trying to hurt it in any way, but I don't know how hard you're supposed to put it on there. So I hope I didn't do it too hard, I hope I did it right, basically. And then the last part is Robi's head movement is now ready to be tested as you did when you tested the servo in the previous stage. First turn on the power from the battery pack, then simply press the test set switch on the test board and watch as Robi moves his head from one side, moves his head from side to side. Robi's head may shake a little during this initial test, but don't worry. This is because it is only temporarily attached at this stage. Okay, so we've done this before. Push the on button at the beginning like I did on this video. It'll go to 1. And then I push this test set button and his head should move. And that's what it did. Hey! Alrighty, stage 7 is done. Thank you very much. I've got Robi looks like a little bit of a robot now. I'm excited. You know, Robi Jr. and Mini Robi, they're gonna see him working, you know, at some point in time here. At least his head can move now. Thank you very much. And then Alista's down here on the floor. You congratulating me, Alista? No, she's just down there sleeping. All right, take care. Bye-bye.